Rory, do you think the UK feed-in tariff is a good system?
Yes, I've been working with the government over the years on trying to promote a feed-in tariff with the REA. And everything initially was no, 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 until about 18 months ago when they realised how short of renewables they were going to be. They realised that they had to have a feed-in tariff that learned from others. And to be honest, I think we now have one of the best feed-in tariffs in the world in terms of the way it's set up, in that the generation is kept completely separate from export and from use of the electricity.
And although it's early days under the UK feed-in tariff, what are your expectations for solar energy installations in the UK in the next few years? And do you think these will be dominated by residential rooftop installations?
Well, I think the government, when they planned this, automatically thought it would be all on rooftops, funded by people who had a little bit of money in the bank, etc. In effect, since they announced the numbers on the feed-in tariff, it's gone the complete opposite way, same as what happened in every other feed-in tariff market. The larger size, the 5 megawatt, is what people are really talking about. 5 megawatt fields, 5 megawatt rooftops, at the same time with domestics as well. So I think what you're going to have is that the numbers that were predicted are going to be exceeded dramatically. I know that some companies have done studies literally 3 months ago and estimate the market to be next year anything from 40, 60, maybe 100 megawatts. That did not take account of the fact that they take up in fields and large scale. The result is that some people are now talking anywhere between 250 megawatt and 750 megawatt next year. Now, whether we can ramp up for that quick enough is the challenge, but the market is there definitely.
And do you think the UK commercial installation market's viable?
Definitely viable. The installer size and scale that we've had in the past is totally inappropriate for the future, and therefore some of those companies are now expanding quite significantly, but also the new players who have sat in the bylines, like the utilities, some of the big building companies, etc., have now realised now it's a scale that we want to be involved in, and therefore training their operatives accordingly.
And on that, but with few highly trained and experienced solar installers in the UK, is that a cause for concern? And what do you think needs to happen?
I think there'll be a lot of people from Europe who will be coming into the UK, and I think the market's going to be big enough for all. There are organisations who are busy training at the moment, training young people who are been through, say, building courses and then can't find a job, so they're getting retrained again into PV. You've got other ones who have lost their jobs in the building industry because of the downturn, the recession, who are now being retrained as well. So I think over a short period of time there's going to be a lot of retrained individuals who can assist these companies to deliver.
And is there a need for a new industry association for the emerging industry, or is the UK market already well served?
Yeah, well, to date it's been a cottage industry. It's been a group of enthusiasts originally they called ourselves PV UK, used to knock on government doors. And then the government got a bit fed up, to be honest, and said, can you not form a big association and be all renewables? And so we did that, and they were more interested in the wind at the time. So over the years, we've lobbied and continued lobbying, and we've, the REA finally lobbied and got the feed-in tariff. Now we feel that we don't need to lobby anymore. We've got the government to do what we wanted. Now it's a matter of delivery. So today I'm announcing solar power, which is a separate part of the Renewable Energy Agency, which is going to drive forward the solar industry.
And can the UK establish a strong PV manufacturing base and compete with the imported modules from Asia?
Difficult one. We already have a modular assembly plant. Sharp have a modular assembly plant for Europe, and we have Romag, who manufacture BIPV products in the UK. They built their business in readiness for what they thought was coming about 5 years ago. It took a bit longer. Both of those companies export 90–95% of what they manufacture. So they're ideally placed to pick up some of the market. But clearly the world PV market is coming from Asia. It is the Chinese product in particular. It is starting to flood the market. And I think that providing that the product is good quality, etc., there's place for all. It may be in time to come, some of the Chinese companies or other players in the world may set up modular assembly plants in Europe. And I think the UK is well placed to get one of those or a few of those assembly plants. This is what happened in the motor industry years ago when Japan were flooding the world with cars. and they set up assembly plants in the UK for Honda, Toyota and Nissan. They are now the most successful manufacturing plants within those organisations. So we've got a good thoroughbred track record in order to attract solar companies into the UK.
Ray, finally, what would need to be done to develop a manufacturing base in the UK?
I think that it's purely just showing that the market is going to take off, but it's going to link to the market in Europe. You don't look at the UK as an individual market. Any PV manufacturer would look at the area of the world, and therefore, even with changes in feed-in tariffs which are coming along in certain countries, the market is not going to stop. The ball is rolling. We are heading to big times. You know, the predictions of 30% of the world's energy from solar by 2050 is well now possible, and therefore when you look at the scale the industry has to be as a world market, it is enormous, and therefore the UK will take benefit from that.